The Asus ROG Ally is a great gaming handheld, but it's not every time that I use it to game because this is actually a pretty good portable PC as well, which is why I have always wanted to find an affordable set of keyboard and mouse to go with. And today, I finally have the answer to that because the Armaggeddon GMK 100 RGB and the Amargon Mirage V are wireless keyboard and mouse that cost less than 300 ringgit. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you on why I think this is a great affordable option if you're thinking to buy a wireless mouse and keyboard for your ROG Ally. For starters, the Amargon GMK 100 RGB costs 159 ringgit, whereas the Mirage V costs 129 ringgit, and together they cost about 289 ringgit, which I think is a really good value if you are looking for an affordable yet feature-packed wireless keyboard and mouse for the ROG Ally. Now, let's start off with the Amargon GMK 100 RGB. Now, the layout here is a 63 key, which means you're going to expect some compromises in terms of keys and all that to make it into this size. But let's talk about some of the things that I really like, especially the design here. Now, it is available in 4 different colors in different seasons. This is how Armaggeddon is listing the models on its website. This is the winter model, by the way, which is why you're seeing this white and blue color scheme here, which is for snow, of course. This is in winter. Now, I do really like this white color paint that Armaggeddon has done right here because it matches the ROG Ally very well, as you can see. Now, what's really interesting here is that this keyboard, aside from being a wireless keyboard, it supports up to 5 connections. So you can connect using the 2.4 GHz dongle, which has lower latency. You also get wired connection if you want to have totally zero latency between your inputs, and you get to connect up to 3 Bluetooth devices. Now imagine if you don't have a slot on your Asus ROG Ally, especially like it only has a USB-C port, you can totally connect wirelessly over Bluetooth to this, which is super convenient, and you can have the other 2 Bluetooth connection connected to other devices such as your smartphone or tablet. Now, of course, as a gaming keyboard, we definitely do not lack any form of RGB here because this thing is full of them. Now, you can, of course, program through the app, which I can show you guys later on the configuration of the RGB lighting and all that, but you can also change the lighting on the spot here, whether you are connected to your device or not, by just pressing on the function and backslash key, just like this. The RGB lighting is pretty nice. It supports, I think, about 20 over modes, if I'm not mistaken. And aside from the keys here, you are also getting RGB lighting on the sides and at the bottom as well. Now, look at this little thing here. This is actually the 2.4 GHz receiver that is styled underneath the keyboard. I think this is a very smart design because imagine that sometimes this is the thing that we always lost, and some mechanical keyboards don't even offer a storage for the receiver. Now, Armaggeddon is really thoughtful to think of this design, and I really love it. Now, aside from that, you can also adjust the keyboard height with these legs as well, which are pretty sturdy in my opinion for a 159 ringgit keyboard. Now, as a 63-key keyboard, it weighs at a reasonable 520 grams, which I think is really reasonable if you want to pack it in your bags all the time. Now, obviously, with such a compact design, you will lose your function row keys just like any other 63-key keyboards, but thankfully, if you use them oftenly, you can simply just switch them back by just pressing the function and control keys, and this number row keys will instantly become your F1 to F12 keys. Now, speaking of the function buttons, aside from having multimedia controls on these number keys, you can also get access to your mail quickly by pressing on the 9 button, go to your home screen, your desktop, or even call the calculator, which I think these are some very thoughtful function buttons that Amarggeddon has built into the GMK 100 keyboard. And aside from that, if you're a gamer and you hate tapping on the Windows button by accident, you can also lock the Windows key by just pressing on the function plus window key button. The GMK 100 RGB offers a good typing experience with its linear switches. The switches are swappable, which makes it a good choice for gamers on the go. What's also interesting here is the ability to switch between Windows and Mac key layouts, which not many entry mechanical keyboard has. Though Amarggeddon didn't provide Mac keycaps inside the box to swap if you do that. Next, let's talk about the Amargon Mirage V. Now, this is a very simple and minimalist looking wireless gaming mouse. It has no RGB around it and it weighs very lightweight at just 89 grams. Now you get a total of 5 buttons here, aside from this left click and right click buttons and the middle wheel. You also get 2 side buttons as well for going forward or back on websites and all that. You also connect up to 3 devices with this. You can either connect to your device through Bluetooth or through the 2.4 GHz receiver or wired if you prefer. Now there's also a DPI switch right at the bottom here by just clicking on the button so that it can switch to different sensitivity. And what I really like about this mouse here, aside from being extremely lightweight, Amarggeddon has also built a storage compartment for the 2.4 GHz receiver, which I think is very important and should be available on every single wireless mouse that is being sold in the market, because I tend to lose this all the time. Right, that's pretty much about the mouse. So let's move on to the softwares of both the Amarggeddon GMK 100 and the Mirage 5. Alright, let's start off with the GMK 100 keyboard software. Now, this is how it looks like on the home screen, and let's head on over to the device tab. Now, in this page, this is where you can set up different functions for each different key, which I think is really nice. So let's say if you want to have the T key to launch a multimedia function or to launch a macro, you can totally do it on this page here. Now you also get lights. This is where you can configure the RGB settings depending on what kind of effects you want. Look at this crazy amount of RGB effects that you can configure right here, which I think is really cool. Now, of course, you can save all this into a profile file. Okay, one more time, 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's start off with the GMK 100 keyboard software. Now, this is how it looks like on the home screen. So let's head on over to the device tab. Now, in this page, this is where you can configure the function of each and every different key on this keyboard here, which I think is really cool. You can save the profiles as well. And let's head on over to the lighting tab. This is where you can configure the RGB lighting effects of the keyboard, and look at this crazy list of effects that you can choose right here, and I think it's really nice. Now you can configure macros just like any other gaming keyboards out there. And finally, the one that I really appreciate is this music visualizer, because it visualizes your music with the RGB lighting, which I think is super cool, and I use it all the time. Now, you can also do some other settings such as disable the window key all the time, alternate tab, and alternate F4. And this is actually quite a decent keyboard software app that I've tested. And one thing that I just don't like is that I'll need to have it tethered all the time whenever I want to do some settings over the software here, which I think is something that Amarggeddon could have improved. They could have probably just integrated into the 2.4 GHz receiver, but this is what it is. It is actually a pretty good software for configuring the keyboard setting. Now, similar to the GMK 100, the Mirage 5 will also have to be tethered to your PC in order to get it configured over its software. Now, this is a pretty simple and straightforward looking software. You even get some Japanese kanji words here, which I believe it's for Mirage 5 in Japanese probably. Now, on the left here, you get key assignments, of course, as usual. And what's really interesting here is that it even shows you the battery levels of the mouse here. Now, I'm not sure why they do that, because you can only show all this when you get it connected wired, but there you go. It shows that it's charging and it calls it electricity instead of battery. Now at the bottom, you do have a power management feature, which I think is something really cool and not many wireless gaming mouse would have, because it actually allows you to configure how long you want the mouse to stay powered when it is in wireless mode, because sometimes when you don't use it, it sucks up power, and most gaming mice don't have great battery life. Right now, on the right, you also get to have DPI setting. You can configure different DPI levels according to the buttons that you press here. Now you also can configure the polling rate. It's up to 1000 Hz, which is pretty standard on most wireless gaming mouse that we see out there. And yeah, that's pretty much on what you can do on the Mirage 5 software. Alright, so that's all for the Amarggeddon GMK 100 and Mirage 5. Let me know what are your thoughts in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos coming right up. And if you're interested in purchasing them, definitely head to the links below. As for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.